Kings 2, Part 3. Jehu executes Jezebel. When Jehu came to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it. She said, "Is it peace, you Zimri, murderer of your master?" And he lifted up his face to the window and said, "Who is on my side? Who?" 2 or 3 eunuchs looked out at him. He said, "Throw her down." So they threw her down, and some of her blood splattered on the walls and on the horses, and they trampled on her. But when they went to bury her, they found no more of her than her skull and the feet and the palms of her hands. When they came back and told him, he said, "This is the word of the Lord which he spoke by his servant Elijah." Jehu slaughters Ahab's descendants. Now Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria. So Jehu wrote letters and sent them to Samaria, to the rulers of the city, to the elders and to the guardians of the sons of Ahab, saying, "Fight for your master's house." But they were exceedingly afraid. So together with the elders and the guardians sent to Jehu, saying, "We are your servants, and we will do all that you tell us." Then he wrote to them a second letter, "Take the heads of your master's sons and come to meet me at Jezreel." They took the king's sons and slaughtered them, put their heads in baskets, and sent them to him at Jezreel. For the Lord has done what he said his servants by his servant Elijah. So Jehu struck down all who remained of the house of Ahab in Jezreel, all his great men and his close friends and his priests, until he left him none remaining. Then he set out and went to Samaria. On the way, when he was at Beth Eked of the shepherds, Jehu met the relatives of Ahaziah king of Judah, and he said, "Who are you?" And they answered, "We are the relatives." He said, "Take them alive and slaughter them." 42 persons, spared none of them. And when he departed from there, he met Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, and said to him, "Is your heart true to my heart as mine is to yours?" And Jehonadab answered, "It is." And he said, "Come with me and see my zeal for the Lord." And when he came to Samaria, he struck down all who remained to Ahab in Samaria, till he had wiped them out, according to the word of the Lord that he spoke to Elijah. Jehu strikes down the prophets of Baal. Then Jehu assembled all the people and said to them, "Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu will serve him much. Now therefore call to me all the prophets of Baal, and all his worshippers and all his priests. Let none be missing, for I have a great sacrifice to offer to Baal. Whoever is missing shall not live." But Jehu did it with cunning, in order to destroy the worshippers of Baal. And they entered the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was filled from one end to the other. Now Jehu had stationed 80 men outside, and said, "The man who allows any of those whom I give into your hands to escape forfeit his life." And Jehu said to the guard and to the officers, "Go in and strike them down. Let not a man escape." And they demolished the pillar of Baal and demolished the house of Baal and made it a latrine to this day. Jehu reigns in Israel. Thus Jehu wiped out Baal from Israel. But Jehu did not turn aside from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin, that is, the golden calves that were in Bethel and in Dan. And the Lord said to Jehu, "Because you have done well in carrying out what is right in my eyes, and have done to the house of Ahab according to all that was in my heart, your sons of the 4th generation shall sit on the throne of Israel." But Jehu was not careful to walk in the law of the Lord, the God of Israel, with all his heart. In those days the Lord began to cut off parts of Israel. Hazael defeated them throughout the territory of Israel. So Jehu slept with his fathers, and Jehoahaz, his son, reigned in his place. The time that Jehu reigned over Israel and Samaria was 28 years. Athaliah reigns in Judah. Now when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the royal family. But Jehosheba, the daughter of King Joram, sister of Uzziah, took Jehoash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him away from among the king's sons who were being put to death. Thus they hid him, and he remained with her 6 years, hidden in the house of the Lord, while Athaliah reigned over the land. We'll just call him Joash, anointed king in Judah. That's the little boy that they hid, Joash. But in the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and brought the captains of the Carites and of the guards, and had them come to him in the house of the Lord, and he made a covenant with them and put them under oath. And he showed them the king's son, and he commanded them, "This is the thing that you shall do." The captains did according to all that Jehoiada the priest commanded. Then he brought out the king's sons and put the crown on him and gave him the testimony. And they proclaimed him king and anointed him. And they clapped their hands and said, "Long live the king." And Athaliah tore her clothes and cried, "Treason, treason." Then Jehoiada the priest commanded the captains, "Bring her out and put her to death. Anyone who follows her, she was put to death." Then all the people of the land went to the house of Baal and tore it down, his altars and his images. They killed Mattan, the priest of Baal, before the altars. So all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was quiet after Athaliah had been put to death. Joash reigns in Judah. Joash was 7 years old when he began to reign. 7 years old when he began to reign. In the 7th year of Jehu, Joash began to reign, and he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Ziba of Beersheba. And Joash did what was right in the eyes of the Lord all his days, because Jehoiada the priest instructed him. Nevertheless, the high places were not taken away, and the people continued to sacrifice and make offerings on the high places. Joash repairs the temple. Joash said to the priests, "Let the priests take each from his donor, and let them repair the house wherever any need of repairs is discovered." But by the 23rd year of King Joash, the priests had made no repairs on the house. Therefore the king Joash summoned Jehoiada the priest and the other priests, and said to them, "Why are you not repairing the house? Now therefore take no more money from your donors, but hand it over for the repair of the house." And they paid it out to the carpenters, the builders, the masons, the stonecutters, as well, to buy the timber and the quarried stone. At that time Hazael, king of Syria, went up and fought against Gath and took it. But when Hazael set his face to go up against Jerusalem, Joash, king of Judah, took all the sacred gifts and all the gold and sent them to Hazael, king of Syria. Then Hazael went away from Jerusalem. The death of Joash. His servants arose and made a conspiracy and struck down Joash in the house of Millo. It was Josachar and Jehozabad, his servants, who struck him down, and Amaziah his son reigned in his place. Jehoaz reigns in Israel. In the 23rd year of Joash, the son of Ahaziah, king of Judah, Jehoaz, son of Jehu, began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and he reigned 17 years. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, and the anger of the Lord was kindled. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he gave them continually into the hand of Hazael, king of Syria, and into the hand of Benhadad, the son of Hazael. Then Jehoaz sought the favor of the Lord, and the Lord listened to him. Therefore the Lord gave Israel a savior. Nevertheless, they did not part from the sins of the house of Jeroboam. And the Asherah also remained in Samaria, for there was not left to Jehoaz an army of more than 50 horsemen and 10 chariots and 10,000 footmen, for the king of Syria had destroyed them and made them like dust at threshing. So Jehoaz slept with his fathers, and Joash, his son, reigned in his place. Same name as the other. So this is Joash the second almost. Joash reigns in Israel. We'll come back to that.